Well, hello students. The main points of chapter 12, we're going to continue on the section on compensation. It's a big section, it encompasses a couple of chapters. And actually, when we talk about chapter 12, we're essentially dealing with um, how you would apply motivational theories in formulating an incentive plan for your employees. And we're going to discuss the main incentives for individual employees. And we're going to discuss the pros and cons of commissions versus straight pay for salespeople. We're also going to, the fourth objective is describing the main incentives for managers and executives. Now, the thing to realize is that we all know that, and it's been stated before, that money is the biggest motivator for any job. And although you have a passion for what you do, you like what you do, you still need to survive out there. And money's role in motivation goes back to Frederick Taylor. If you have taken principles of management before, you've studied Taylor. And he made his contributions essentially in the late 1800s. And he saw the need for looking at improving how we chronologically measure our output. In other words, increase our standards of production by looking at scientific management. And what he did is in studying scientifically how individuals produce, essentially he was looking at using different types of incentives to get employees to produce more. Now, not necessarily better, but more efficiently, so they could produce more in a shorter period of time. Now, when we think of strategic types of linking to performance, incentive pay and compensation becomes something that managers really take a good hard look at. And they look for different types of incentive plans at various levels of work performance in the organization in order to pay for superior performance. And there's something that's called the law of individual differences. It means that everyone is different in personality, what they believe, their values, their needs, their skill set. All of these things have to do with motivation. Now, there was also Frederick Hertzberg, and he came up with the hygiene and motivator theories. And what he essentially said was hygiene factors are things that you have to do, but you don't necessarily feel better about doing them, but you need to do them all the time. Like a lot of people do repetitive paperwork, they do it over and over and over again, but it's required of the job. Like say if you work for an insurance company, you had to file claims, you do it the same way all the time, although maybe you're talking about automobile accidents, they're all different, but the process is still the same. And then we have expectancy theory and looking at demotivators. And then you have Victor Vroom, VROOM, and his theory suggests that a person's motivation to exert some level of effort is a function of three things. And that is, what is the person's expectancy? In other words, what is the probability of performance and of getting the rewards for providing a certain type of performance, and what they call the valence, which represents the perceived value that the rewards are going to be worth that would make the person work better. The other thing is B.F. Skinner came up with behavioral modification. And what Skinner said is, what he proposed was that to understand behavior, an employee must understand the consequences of that behavior. So if you had to modify your behavior, would you get more than what you are now getting in compensation? And on the other hand, if you didn't produce more, would you be punished for that? Or could you get laid off or lose your job? So these are the types of things we're going to be talking about. And we're going to be also talking about individual employee incentives and work recognition programs. And we're going to be looking at incentive plans for salespeople. So all of this is going to be in this outline, and you want to take a look at it, read along in your book. And then there's a certain section about incentives for managers and executives. You certainly want to take a look at that as well. So these are the things that you're going to be looking at in this particular section. So enjoy the reading. There's a hypothetical involved in here, maybe two hypotheticals. So you want to take a look at those, okay? In section 12, you have two parts that we're looking at. In section 13, you also have two parts. So enjoy the week going through this.